I have an official game plan. It starts with jacking up this thing. I don't know whether to call it a car or a motorcycle, but I'm just going to call it the Wildfire WF650C for now. So I got to jack up the front and the back, put it on a couple of ramps in the back and a couple of jack stands in the front. Then I'm going to take that starter off. It looks like the previous owner already had the starter almost off, so hopefully this will be a quick thing. I sometimes like to take a moment and just relax and contemplate things, where I am in life and all that, before I hook up the last battery cable on a new project, before the fire department's called.
3, 2, 1.
Just did some checking of the VIN down there and found out this was a Boss 429 car. No, it wasn't. I don't know why anybody would doubt the wiring in this little vehicle. I mean, look at it, it's perfect. Well, I put a couple wires together over there and listen. That's the fuel pump, and I'm starting to smell gas. Vapors permeating the entire car, so shouldn't be long until the explosion happens. Or at least, I don't know, I'm sticking with explosion. Oh, look at that! She's alive. Oh, is it a she? I didn't check under the back end, but I don't know. This is the most adorable rear end ever. Look at that. There would be our starter, and wow, to my surprise, it actually looks kind of like one of those little mini torque racing starters. You can see a little spark plug up in there and stuff, and alternator bolt finger tight. Okay. And that quickly, it's out. Just a couple of bolts. Now look at that. I don't know how many of you guys have done drag racing and stuff, but that looks like another starter that I've seen. I'm gonna check it here in a second for some numbers, but boy, that looks familiar to me for some reason. Wonder if that flange is kind of universal. Also make sure it spins, the solenoid works and all that. The problem with this is this feels really, really gushy in here. See that? See on the left side of it there? Well, changes have happened to the Wildfire WF650C. As you can see, I've yanked the dash out of here. The reason I did that, if you remember from another earlier video, the thing was just smoke. The plastic in these is just, man, it's just so brittle and just gone. Look at the steering wheel. See, it's gone. But anyway, I took the dash out and measured left to right, and I measured the dimensions of the gauge pod there, and I'm going to see what I can do to make this, I don't know, I'm going to peruse the junkyard, see if I can find a little bitty car with maybe something the same size, or at least something that could be made to fit. But I discovered a few things down here. First of all, there's our lovely fuse panel. We had a couple toggle switches, and I'm not really sure what they do. The one on the right has 3 positions, down, middle, and up. And from there earlier, you remember this plug here. This is the one that goes to the ignition switch. Down there, the really big one we're looking at, that has to do with everything on the steering column, which would of course be the stalks on each side, the turn signals and the wipers and things like that. So that's all in that bundle too. But as we get up here, we're starting to run into wiring that goes out to the front for the headlights and turn signals, that kind of stuff. One weird thing about this, I looked down, I was like, why the hell is there a wire going to the door? Well, on one of the videos I watched, the mirrors actually have turn signals made into them. I'm going to change that. But for right now, that's how it's looking. We have that all set up inside the vehicle, and there's a little unit down there that is at least a heating unit. I can't imagine it having AC on it because I don't know where the rest of the system would be. It would have to be either just vent and heat or nothing, but a couple of flashers there, a relay tucked up under there. We're starting to make sense of it. And I guess we'll at least figure out the best way to catch it on fire on the next video. I mean, it is a wildfire. Ooh, look at that. Tinted at one time. I just noticed that. Fasten seatbelt, you damn right. This thing is made of the most brittle plastic. I can't even really, I'm not going to yank on that because it will break in half. Every single piece of the interior, if you touch it. But also, see that little screw right there? Those sneaky little mothers. Those are not screws. They're those little press-in things that look like screws. You put a screwdriver in there and it just totally obliterates them. So you can just grab a hold of that door panel and get like a thumbnail under the edge and rip the whole thing off. Also, these, I've seen those in a whole lot of cheap cars, but I can't remember exactly what they are. Maybe like a Civic or something? I'm going to start looking around for something that has approximately those dimensions. But I've got a lot of work in front of me here, and I better get to it. Before I do that, though, I got to show you under the hood at the breathtaking engineering here. Now we crossed. See that little thing right there? That's like the inner fender. The latch assembly. It has a coilover. See the little steering box down there? Brakes. I'll be fixing that soon because we've definitely got a leak on that. But anyway, that's kind of a beefy bracket for the top of that thing. It's a huge coilover. That's that high dollar mirror with the integrated turn signal assembly right there. Can't believe it's still on the car. And of course, some fantastic body work. You can see where they painted it when they were finished making it smooth. Got the metallic in it. Look, I was going to keep this to myself, but don't tell anybody. See that? NGKR. Little dude is going to be fast. I just dropped off the starter at a local place. Now, this is a clue that I'm going to give you that you really have to take into consideration. When you have a really weird vehicle or an older vehicle, if it's not the sort of starter that you can just pick up at an O'Reilly, Advance, or, you know, AutoZone or whatever, find a place like I just did that's full of people who have been doing this a while and they deal with unusual applications such as this one. There's a place right off 41 in Tampa called Hutcherson that deals with starters and alternators, and these guys know when they look at a Chinese clone of something that, like this guy inside, Mark, knew instantly. He said, well, I can tell you that the motor itself and the armature structure inside there is Nippon Denso. So that's what I was hoping. I was hoping to find a cross-reference of a Japanese part, because the Japanese parts are going to be very high quality generally. And we'll get the guts for a Nippon Denso and pop it in this unit. He says he's got bushings and all that, so I'm supposed to call him back in 2 days, and hopefully we can make a lot of progress. In the meantime, I'm going to start some wiring, some other little things on the, I don't know, is it a car or is it a motorcycle? Or should I just continue to call it the Wildfire WF650C? I don't know yet.